Welcome to my first live stream on YouTube. It's a little card I'm going to make, just a simple clean card. It's for the Lawn Fawnatics challenge that's on the website now. And that's about a clean and simple card, so that's what I'm doing. And it also was the perfect card for me to do my first live stream because it doesn't involve too much things. Because I have to see how live is going to be for me. My husband is next to me. He is doing all the things in the chat, and also if you have any questions he will read them out loud so I can answer them. So please be free to ask if there is anything you want to know. It doesn't have to be about this card, it can also be about something else you want to know. Even if you want to know something about me, you can ask it and he will forward them to me. So let's start. This is the card that we're going to make. I use some glossy things on there to make it a little more special. And I will first show you all the stuff I used. So these are the mini slimline sets from Lawn Fawn. And let me pick up the dies I actually used. This one is from here. No, it's the other way around. This one is from here. So this is the larger and the small set. And I use those to cut the background. So that are the two panels that I cut. This is also a Lawn Fawn paper. It's a little bit older, I think. I don't know if it's still available, but you could use any rainbow paper. As you can see on the card I already made, I used a different one, so that's all good. That's cut with this. That's the largest one, and this is the small one. And this is just some white paper I also use for ink blending. It's a little bit thicker and therefore you see the stitch lines very good. So that's that. Then I already prepared a craft paper card base. I always do my cards the last year or so on craft paper because I like it better when things are on there, like this white background, and you open the card that it's just a little different than already is on the card. So that's why. Let's put that aside. The stamp sets that I used. Let me see. This is from the Piñata. It's the year 7 set. So I stamped that one out. And I used the balloon from Party Animal and the little party hat. And from the big scripty words I used the happy, and you could use the birthday sentiment from the year 7 set, or what I did was from the happy 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 I took the birthday one. What I already did was I prepared the little sentiment banner that's underneath here. It's just black cardstock, and I stamped on and heat embossed the birthday one with just white embossing powder. Let's see, let's go to the coloring. So I stamped out the piñata, the birthday hat and the balloon. That's all we need for this clean and simple card.
We also have a question already coming in from Rolina, who asks, which cardstock is your favorite for ink blending?
For ink blending, it's the Crafter's Companion stamping cardstock, I believe it's called. I like it because it's this paper. It's smooth and you can still stamp on it and color on it. It's not my favorite for coloring, but if you want to do some masking, where you stamp on something and you mask it off to stamp something else, and you would just want to make a one layer card, it's perfect to do that. What I also like is some watercolor paper. Let me see if I can grab any. I like it because it has a little texture, and watercolor paper usually can take some water because it's made for that. So when you want to splatter on some drops of water when you did some distress ink blending or distress oxide blending, it's perfect for that. Also, I like that it has a texture. So for this card, it could also be the watercolor paper, but because I wanted to draw a line from there to there, I just chose to have a smooth paper. For coloring, I have used some different papers. This is a paper I found in a Dutch web shop for printer stuff, and they just have a pack of like 100 sheets, I think, and it has a really smooth surface, and it has a bit of a coating on it, and it's just perfect for the Copic coloring. Let me see. For the colors, I always use my hex chart. You can find that on the Sandy Elnock site, and I like it because I can easily see which colors I want to use. So for this card, because of the rainbow, I wanted the piñata with the basic rainbow colors. Not all of them. I have the red, yellow, green and blue, and I thought it was fun to do the pink in the sentiment and in the balloon and the party hats. So that's what I always keep next to me when I'm coloring. Let me pick out some colors. Let me see, the reds first.
Also, while you are picking out colors, we have Marianne, who is saying that she's going to try and create the card together with you. So someone
that's fun.
Follow along. And several others who have come in. Fionella also says that you are one of her favorite creators. So she's very happy to and excited for your live stream as well.
That's so sweet. I always color with my darkest marker first, because then I know that I don't oversaturate it, and it's easier for me. But you could do it the other way around if you like to. I will put the caps next to my sheet of paper, but I don't know if it's always good to see which color it is, but if you have any questions about it, just ask. So I blend out the darker one first, and then I blend the whole image. Like that. And then I like to go back in with my darkest color, just about the edge, to darken it a little.
Also, we have Melanie joining. She says, it's nice that you are live. I'm gonna join and watch you a little bit before I have to go into the kitchen.
Okay, welcome, that's fun.
We have a question from the Kaartenmeisje, who asks, do you always use Copic or do you also use other brands?
I use Copic. I do have some budget markers, but I don't really use those for my coloring. I use those for when I want to sketch out something real quick, and I don't want to use my Copic ink for that. Let's see, the green one. Let's put it to the side. So again with the darkest one first.
Also, MyCM is saying that you always say in your videos that you can skip over the coloring, but I always enjoy watching the coloring.
Yeah, it's a thing I always struggling with, because some people don't like watching the coloring. They find it tedious to watch, and some really like watching it. So I prefer to put it in my videos and to let people know where to skip through if they want to. But it's good to hear that you like it.
And then we have another question from Marianne, who asks, how do you plan where to put the colors on your images? I often struggle with light source.
Well, there are a lot of Copic guides out there that really are focused on the right light source, but I just do what feels good to me. So, like for this, the head is colored the darkest color on the left, because I can see myself having the light from here, but that also means that I shouldn't be putting a darker color here, but it feels good to do so. So just do what feels good to you. It doesn't have to be all accurate, and it will look good in the end. So let's go back with the darker one.
Also, Brigitte is saying that she sees that you don't own all the Copic colors. First thing that came to mind is that some markers would possibly be an idea for a next Christmas calendar.
Yeah, I don't own them like on the hex chart. I don't have them all, but I have a lot. I started out with like 25 from college, and then I bought some and bought some till I found a really good deal on a secondhand web shop, which was so super cheap that I was so happy that I found it. But too much color always can also overwhelm you. Let's pick out the blues.
We also have Tiffany Beuning joining, who says, super cute card, perfect for the current challenge.
Thanks, Tiffany. I really love making elaborate cards, but clean and simple is also fun to do. So it's the perfect challenge for me, because it really is a challenge. So I'm blending out the darkest color first, and then I'm going to color in the whole part. And then I also like to go back in from the dark to the lighter color. And I like to go back in to really give it some shadow. I see that I picked a little darker color than on my original card, but that doesn't really matter, but I thought I picked out the same.
Also, Marianne asks, what's your favorite color combination?
It depends on what I'm coloring. I like these yellows a lot, especially these two, for everything like the beaks on birds and things that need to be a little golden yellow. What I also love to use a lot are these greens for leaves and such. And if I want a different kind of green, I will go for something like the G7 with G5 or G7 with G14, or this one with this one. It depends a little on what I'm coloring.
And Brigitte has told her husband that she is also watching your first live, and he responded with, "Oh, so without further ado, let's get started."
Oh, and this is, by the way, my favorite yellow. I really like a golden yellow. So that's that. Let's go back with the darker color. Let's see, a pink for the party hat and the balloon. This is also a pink combo I use a lot. These two.
So people are sharing whether or not they prefer the simpler cards or if they like more scene building cards. And it's actually a lot of a mix. Some people like the more simple cards, but others like also the scene building cards. And most people who have commented already say that they actually like a combination. So some things are better with the simple cards, but some things require a more elaborate card as well.
Yeah, I think that's my opinion too. I do love the elaborate cards, but I also struggle with that they are so time consuming, so much coloring, so much die cutting. It really is fun to do, but if you make every card an elaborate card, it's so much work and it really takes the joy from card making. So going back to something more clean and simple, even if it isn't as clean and simple as this one is, it's still super fun to do.
We have another question. How much time are you working on average for one single card?
I really take my time making a card, so let's say a few hours, like 3 or 4 for just a scene building card. But it really depends on what I'm making and how far my idea already developed. Like I'm always making my cards that I do for my videos on beforehand, so I know what my design is for the video, and then I know what to do in the video when I'm recording it. And if you know what to do, it really gets shorted with time. So like a 4-hour card will then take me like maybe an hour or 2. For the dots on the party hat, I'm using the same yellow. Like that. Let's throw these aside. Now, like I always say in my videos, I like to go in with a fine liner, because this paper, like you maybe can see now, like here the line disappears a little after the coloring, it becomes a little dull, and I like to go back in with a fine liner. Let's do about half so we can see the difference. So here I put the lines and here I didn't. And you can see it bring back a little more detail on it. And it's not really necessary to do, but once you do something like that, it becomes a habit to do it. And you can't really not do it. At least that's the case for me. I don't do this with all brands, like Mama Elephant has a little more of a thinner line on the illustration, so it also is harder to trace it without ruining the image. And it also feels like it's less necessary for me to do it.
Brigitte is asking, what size fine liner do you use?
This is the 0.25. It's from Copic. If you pick the SB version, you can refill the pen. Otherwise, if you have the one without the SB, you have to buy a new pen every time. Yeah, that's that. I saw that I forgot to give my piñata his blushy cheeks. So let's do that. And then I go in with my white fine liner. I know a lot of people are struggling with the white lines as well. What I always like to do is go in the roundness of things, like with the ear you can put it there, because you can see we put the shadow there and you have the light source for this part from here. But I also like to do the line there. And same on this ear and with this head too. And then here, and if you like, you can cross over that line. If this was an image of a horse, I wouldn't do it, because it's kind of simulates that this piece is one piece. So if it's a real horse, then it would be weird for me to put a line all the way, but because it's a piñata, I can put a line there. Let's see, let me put it there, just a little. And here again, in the roundness.
Also from YCM, this is something that they like to see, because they struggle a lot with putting the white lines in.
Yeah, I put it in my video a little bit fast forwarding, because it's a little tedious to watch, but I also think a lot of people want to see how I do it. But maybe I can do some coloring videos. I have some on my Instagram already, but maybe I can do some more just to show people how I color and how I put highlights. So in the legs too, in the roundness. Let me see here. What I also like to do nowadays is putting some extra dots in. They are just completely random, just like how I feel they would fit the image a little bit, separated from each other. With the party hat I like to do one whole line over the dots as well, because the party hat is just one piece. And a balloon is super shiny, so you get a very large highlight. On the other side as well. And let's make the 3 dots again.
We also have Lizzie asking, what words of inspiration or advice would you give someone that is thinking about creating their first crafting YouTube video?
Don't overthink what you're doing. So don't worry about the quality of your camera, the quality of your audio, the quality of your light source. Sure, people have to be able to see what you are doing, but don't let it hold you down. You can always improve later on when you make more videos, but today I was a little nervous for my live stream as well. I even thought about not doing it, not like yesterday I was going to announce it, and I was really thinking, should I do it, maybe not, and then I was like, yeah, if I don't do it I don't know how it is, and if I don't know how it is I don't know if I like it. So that's that. Let me find the dies.
Debbie is asking, what brand of the white gel pen do you use? I have one that puts a lot of thick lines, and these are a lot nice and thin.
This is the Uniball Signo. I don't know if it has any specific points. I don't think so. I also have the Sakura Jelly Roll. I think you have those in different sizes. I like this one as well. And I also have a paint marker from Posca. It has a really fine tip, but the lines really get bigger. And I like this one on lighter surfaces, like the video on my channel with the pink clouds and the mouse in the sky. Those clouds are really light, so then I like to use this one because it's a little more seeable on the clouds. I have to say, this one, it really is a good one to use, but use it often, because when you let it just sit on your shelf, it will the point will dry a little, and then the little ball in there won't roll anymore, so it won't work then.
And Melanie is happy that you put through and that you actually did the live, because you're doing a super good job.
Thank you. I'm always really picky about putting my dies on there, because I really want to have a nice die-cutted image. Don't worry if you aren't like me. Let's see. I have to die cut it a little off screen. bit of residue. So the next step is making the happy sentiment. So let's put these aside for a little. And then I'm taking out my small Misty, my mini Misty, and a piece of paper. Let me see. So this is the happy stamp from the big scripty words set. And I'm going to stamp that one with Distress Oxide Picked Raspberry.
Brigitte likes to know, when you use your cutting machine for the stamps you don't own the dies for, do you prefer coloring before cutting or do you cut first?
I like to do the coloring first because sometimes I use a scan and cut if I don't have the dies, and I find it easier to let them cut the colored images. But it also can be frustrating when it goes wrong and you spend all the time on the coloring. So yeah, if that's a concern for you, just cut them first and color them using some purple tape to hold them. I need to stamp these a few times. That looks nice and crisp. So let's put back the Distress Oxide. And then I need to clean off my stamp before I go in with the clear embossing ink. Like that. So I just go ahead and stamp on the clear embossing ink. To be sure I covered everything, I do it twice as well.
Does the die cut machine, the WXL, also work with hot foil dies? If you have experience with that, what brand hot foil machine do you use?
I don't have a hot foil machine, so I don't know if it would fit. Sorry. So let's put this aside. Piece of paper. I use the clear gloss Superfine from WoW because I like, when I make a clean and simple card, I like doing something to make it just a little more special, like using a different texture, using some glitter, using something glossy.
And Sophie would like to know, what do you use to clean your stamps? They always look so nice and clean.
I only stamp with water-based inks, like the Lawn Fawn ink, the black one, or the Memento black ink. And for the other The other colors I always use distress oxide because they are easy to clean off your stems. If you do it right away, and just use a chamois and some water to do it. Now I'm going to heat emboss, so what I do is I'm heating up my heat gun a little off screen before I go in and melt the powder, so this will make a little noise. And now we have a nice and shiny, happy sentiment. Let that cool off a little before I die cut it. Let me know if you have any questions. So let's line up the die. Through my die cutting machine. So with my tweezers I'm going to punch out those insides, and then we have the die cutted image. Now I'm ready to assemble the card. So these are the pieces I showed earlier. These are cut with the mini slimlines. Let's see if I can put this to have a little reference.
Marianne would like to know, what's your favorite Lawn Fawn set?
For a long time it was the mermaid set, so Mermaid for You. But I think I switched a little to having some different sets that I like going together, like the bears. I don't know the set names. But the two bear sets that you can combine, and sometimes I like the people set, so like the bicycle built for you, or the screen time set. It really differs, but if I have to pick just one and all the other ones go away, I think it still would be Mermaid for You or maybe Gleeful Garden. I really like that one too. Before I'm assembling it, I'm going to make the line. Let's take a pencil first.
You were talking about the bear set. Fionella asked if you mean Den Sweet Den.
Yeah, it's the Den Sweet Den set. Let's go about halfway. Tell something. here. So halfway.
And Simone would like to know, how do you save all your stamps and dies? How do you store them?
Oh, that's what I showed earlier. So you can use stamp pockets, but I use these just the document sized, the smaller document sized U sleeves. So the U means that it's open on the top side, and I put in some white cardstock with the name. I like to insert the paper from the packaging, and then I put in my stamps. And on the back I have a magnet sheet with the dies, and I also put a number there because that's how many dies the set has. So when I'm done crafting, I'm going to put things back, I just count if everything is there, so I know it's all safe and sound. So let's make this a line.
Now Marianne would like to know what my favorite set is, but there's so many cute ones, and I don't know the names of any of them, so that's really hard to answer for me, I guess. I do like all the sets with like the cute animals, so.
Yeah, you basically like all the sets.
Yeah.
But that's the same for me actually, so. Let's see. So I made the line. And now I'm going to use my APG for the background. That. I always put on the fold side first, because when you are sticking it a really different way, like if I would put it first here and then there and I have a border left, I can't cut it off. So if I do it first from this side, but this one fits really well. But if I would have a little line here, I can just go and cut it off. Now I'm going to put this with foam tape. My husband always jokes that I say thin foam tape in my videos, but that's because I have some different thicknesses of tape. So this is a really thin one. Let me see. This one is a little thicker, so this is 1 millimeter. This is 2, and this is 3. So this is really thick. This is for shaker cards and the reveal wheel, for example. And this thin one just lifts off the image just a little, so you won't get a really bulky card, but you will have some depth in your card. Also, a really good thing I found is the Westcott titanium non-stick scissors. You have this from different brands as well, but it has a coating which allows you to cut through foam tape without sticking it to your scissors. So that's really a real discovery I just recently had.
Also, people really like your tip of adding a number to your die set to know how many there are.
Yeah, I'm really anxious that I'm missing a die or something, so I figured out that would be a great solution to always know how many dice there need to be on your sheet, and when you lost something you will know when you are done with your card, and it will be more able to find it back.
So Marielle was asking that they were curious what our dog is doing since both of us are live streaming, but I said that he's probably just chilling or sleeping in the living room.
I think he's in the hallway because he likes to be in the hallway so he can hear us or me. So I think there's a pillow there so he can just lay there and chill. Let's put the backing off. What I also recently discovered is making the foam tape a little less sticky with your sleeve. I just put off my vest so I had to pick it up. But when you do it like this, you see that there are some hairs sticking to it. And it will make it a little less sticky, which will make it easier to put it on your card without sticking it down right away, but it will still stick perfectly to your card. So let's check. This is how the card goes open. This is always a little hard to do on camera, but I will do my best. Good. So that's the base of our card. Here are all the images we made and the birthday sentiment. Let's put this next to it. So I want this one together with the balloon. I always like putting my images down first, even now that I know how my images are going to be, because I already made the card. It's always a good idea to see how you are going to glue down things. So first let me glue down the party hat. Let me see, I want the balloon and the piñata to be like one image that's going into the center. So let me position that a little. You can be doubled back a little. Something like this. So then I hold those. It's maybe hard for you guys to see. But I just put a little glue behind, and now my two images are together, so I know that they are going to be just like how I want them, because I want to use some foam tape again to create a little depth on the card. And it's easier to do when the images are glued together already. Let me see.
The countermeasure is asking if you're doing this just for the one time or will you do more live streams in the future?
Well, I was planning on doing that more often, but this was my first one to see how things work, how things go, if I feel comfortable doing them. So probably there will be more. I just don't know how and when.
And Begit would like to know how many cards do you make in a single week?
Oh, it really depends on how much free time I have. Like making a video, I try to make a video every week and it really takes a lot of my time. And sometimes I have more concentration on editing my video and I have more time left to make new cards, but sometimes it really takes me like a whole week and a large chunk of my free time to edit the videos, so then I have less time to make new cards. So he's down. Let's see. I find it easiest to include this to the birthday banner as well. So it's one piece. Something like this. Yeah, that's all right. This is always a little tedious to do. Now I want to cut off the leftover pieces here on the side, because it will have trouble fitting in an envelope. If you use a long scissors, you can put it against the side, so you cut it off straight. And the last step I like to do for this card is adding some clear drops. I used glossy accents on this one, but let's see if we can use Nouveau drops. So the crystal drops, and this is I believe Morning Dew. I put a little drop there to see how it turns out. And I like to take this one. It's a really sharp hook I use for when I cut some vinyl with my plotter, to pick up the vinyl, but here I'm going to use it for putting down the peaks the Nouveau drops form. See, there's a little peak that won't go down by itself. So I twirl it around a little bit with the sharp hook. And then we have a round ball. let's do one here. This one has a really high peak, so I have to be careful it doesn't drop on the card. Like that, and the last drop. And that's that. It only needs to dry, so it will become clear. But this is the card we made. I really like the background paper as well on this one. This one has a little different paper. And you could also adjust it. If you have some paper that you want to use for the background, just adjust the colors of the piñata and you're all done.
Birgit has a tip that tapping underneath your card will also round up the drops as well.
Yeah, I noticed that as well, but I noticed that my clear drops won't allow that, and the white drops, it really works when I tap it. But that's a really good tip. Let me know if you have any questions while I'll show the card just a little more. If there aren't any questions, then I think we're going to shut off the live. Thanks everyone for watching. I really liked having you all around and making a card together with you. Thanks for all the support and all the questions. It really helped me put me through the live because I was really nervous. Also thanks to my husband for being next to me and so that I can just focus on my card and he can tell me if there are questions, and it was really nice that he was here. So thanks again, and I will definitely do a live again in the future, but I don't know when. But keep an eye on my channels to know all about it. So thank you and bye bye.